हमारा स्पेस सेक्टर 130 करोड़ देशवासियों की प्रगति का एक बड़ा माध्यम है।
India is now a spacefaring nation with the capability now for launching our own satellites, using our own rockets from our own soil. India is one among the best in the world with respect to the infrastructure, with respect to the potential, and with respect to the technology.
Exciting things happening in space here. Lots of excitement on the front of possible interplanetary exploration, settlements on Moon and Mars, looking beyond, and just other a story, and whether it's right or wrong, of looking back into the universe at the start of it. But that apart, there's a lot of down-to-earth things right here on Earth, in India, which are very, very exciting from a different point of view, which is the point of view of the economy.
If you look at your everyday life, you will see its applications right from morning till night. For example, even now when we are talking to you, right, it is using the space technology. Satellites are required everywhere, whether it is communication, whether it's meteorology, whether it's disaster management, whether it is remote sensing, whether it is forestry, greenery, agriculture.
A whole huge host of agricultural applications related to crops, weather, land utilization, soil, what soil is best suited for what's the soil moisture condition, when should you irrigate and when you need not. So that might relate to release of water from major projects. There are backward linkages that go into the whole agricultural economy that are critically important. Then there are other uses where you can use more sophisticated applications, including the newer ones which penetrate a little bit into the soil for looking at where there's groundwater, possibly, and this is a little distant, prospecting for minerals by correlating with the biology there, you might say, the crops that are growing there, what trees are growing there, relating into the soil conditions and therefore predicting. And there's some interesting things happening in that area. And a whole range of other, what are broadly called remote sensing applications from space. Today, these are enhanced and amplified by using drones, where you can get much better, resolution, that is better visibility of micro areas, one farm, what it needs, what it doesn't, combined with the broader picture that you can get from a satellite. So, lots of things there. The scope for entrepreneurs and for startup companies is truly taken off in just the last few years. Till now, it was by and large a sort of R&D related venture, driven mainly by the space agency, but a lot of industries collaborating, contributing, but was mainly driven by them. Now it's moving into the sphere of a general broader sector.
India has now been given by the government the requisite boost for commercialization, which you all know is in form of in space, where the idea is to boost the economy through utilization of space technology and research and development in space sciences.
And two or three things very briefly on the application side, and you might broadly divide it into three categories. One is the kind of applications happening in space itself. The second is applications from space related to Earth. And the third is things which are related to supporting these two. You might say the infrastructure of building rockets, satellites, launching them, tracking them, keeping tab of them. And in all three areas, there's great scope. Low Earth orbit communication satellites have become almost the rage. Amazon, through one of their projects, is, for example, planning 12,000, now I'm told 20,000 low Earth orbit satellites. From India, Bharti is one of the active places, Airtel, Bharti Airtel, in one of the ventures on Earth orbit satellites, working with the British on OneWeb. Elon Musk is into it in a big way, and a whole number of other people are doing this. Where does all this come from? Where do these 20,000 satellites come from? Somebody's got to make them. You need control systems, propulsion systems, tracking systems, everything that goes into a satellite, from the small assemblies to components to making the whole satellite, testing it, checking it out. And then there is the whole aspect of creating the launch vehicles, the propulsion for them, the fuel for them, then launching them, actually operating them, tracking the satellites, and then keeping them up there in orbit. You might say the maintenance part. So between all these, there's huge scope now opening up for people who want to do anything from hardcore metal cutting and creating satellites or rockets to just maintaining them, which is creating stations where you track them and so on, to software for analysis of data. I mentioned agriculture. It doesn't just happen. You need very sophisticated software if you want to do really something exciting, new and good in that area.
If you look at the space science and technology or space sector in totality, it needs people from all possible domains of science. And now with the Gaganyaan and human space program coming, people from biology, people from medical backgrounds are also required, because we need to talk about space medicine, we need to talk about space nutrition, we need to talk about space travel, right? And of course the basic sciences, physics, chemistry, maths, biology, civil, mechanical, electrical, electronics, computers, metallurgy, material science.
And all this, by the way, is now generating big business. It's not some small thing happening as exciting small innovation in a little place, but it's creating huge markets of billions, expected to be possibly hundreds of billions of dollars in the space economy or the space sector, you might say. And India is among the early and front runners.
And as you know that it all started with Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, the father of Indian space program. And Sarabhai ji, even in 50s and 60s, understood that India should have its own space program. And that is why he started, the rocketry program in Thumba, in Srivendram, and the satellite program, that is development of the satellite in Bangalore.
That many of our entrepreneurs are doing everything from rocket launches. They're working actually on creating rockets that can launch satellites, to a lot of things for satellites itself and making the satellite. Plus, of course, we are, you might say, well-known masters in the software. So no reason why we shouldn't be up there.
So space sector is a very, very important in the development of any country.